It was Marcus Garvey who said that a people without knowledge of their past history, origin, and culture is like a tree without roots. Afro-Caribbean people often fall into this narrative as crime and violence takes place of cultural pride. The government is making efforts to combat this as part of emancipation celebrations. During a recent episode of the Nation Beat program, the topic of Afro-identity was tackled to underscore the unique challenges and opportunities faced by black people. Amongst the panel of strictly female guests was Raisa Joseph, Executive Director of the Folk Research Center. Joseph highlighted the different outlooks faced by diverse groups of black people.
Because when we look at, for example, the experiences, the philosophies of African Americans, Africans in the Caribbean, those in England and other spaces, we have different distinctions based on our social and political upbringings that often bring us into conflict. But when we look at, for example, a lot of our traditions, they are unifying factors and even our positions within the society. So when we Afro-ethnicity, it is both a point of unity and based on where we are based on the experience of migration, the transatlantic slave experience is also a source of conflict.
In the cultural identity space, imagery and role models play a crucial role. Dr. Kenyatta Joseph, an associate professor at the University of the Southern Caribbean, believes that prominent Afro-Caribbean leaders in the corporate world are not celebrated enough.
Someone of partly African descent or wholly African descent, coming from the Caribbean, who is a businessman. These are not the images that we are used to. And when we see those leaders, because when we think about the musicians and so on, they are seen as leaders also. But there's always some other thing attached to it, like sometimes the bad boy, the rude boy, that sort of thing. So the same kind of respect isn't necessarily given, but I think that's something that I have noticed. I guess so there's still those negative, I wouldn't say negative connotations, but still lacking of respect or seeing people of African descent in those non-traditional spaces.
Governor General Emerita Dame Paulette Louise pointed to the common start of Caribbean heritage as a unifying force.
If we see ourselves as ethnically linked to Africa, then it gives us something to work with. What kinds of attitudes, what kinds of things we would like to see of a St. Lucian or of a Caribbean person. And so if we agree that that is where we see that we perhaps belong, in the sense that that's where we came from, then that collaboration, that cooperation would be so much easier.
Desmond Tutu once said that a strong cultural identity is the cornerstone of a healthy society. If that should be the case, then conversations surrounding cultural identity should remain forefront. For Choice News Now, I am Quinn Segis.